Hello, welcome back to March's Planning Mess. I'm going to do a bit of an update here on how things are going with my planning, finishing up the last quarter of 2025 and also thinking forward to the future for 2026. Okay, so this is my 2025 N2 Compact Vertical Planner. It is really I just love the size. I've really enjoyed it. And now that I figured out a way that I can incorporate that, I'm really happy with this planner. And I'm happy to be back in it because I had to go away for a while due to not having enough pages for all the things I needed to track. And so I'm back in it to finish out the year. So let's go to this week. Well, let's do last week. Okay. So here is my vertical weekly spread. You can see I'm making use of my November sticker subscription. And I need to go through and fill out all my health tracking data here, but you can see I've got all my appointments put in, I've got my weather put in, and I've got the dates across the top, which I had run out of some daily stickers. So the little ones you can get from Amazon, I just trimmed those down and am using them in here. Okay, and then this is my Dutch door system, and here is my to-do side of things. And so I have 3 categories: to-dos, chores, and errands. And so I just fill those out. I did all these things. I just haven't gone in and actually checked them off, which is funny, but the busyness of how those days went helps me realize why I didn't actually follow through with that part of my planning. So that's my section. I just need to fill in my mood tracker for Sunday, and then I can move that on to next week. Okay, and then I've got my my journal system here. That's all looking good. And I was able to get my whole week to fit on those 4 pages and even had a little room to spare and a giant sticker. So that worked out well. This is this week. We're on vacation for Thanksgiving, so don't really have many plans in, but I did get my weather marked for the week, and I've gotten my doctor's appointments and things I need to do on different days mapped out. And here's my to-do list. It doesn't really have much. I just kind of am using my brain dump a little bit more because since we're home, the day that things get accomplished is not quite as important as it normally is. And I need to get those air filters changed. I was supposed to do that beginning of November. It's just gotten pushed farther and farther on, but I'll take care of that hopefully today, not today, tomorrow. I haven't started any journaling this week. I really didn't have too much to say about yesterday, but I will go in and do that at some point. I sometimes tend to journal like 2 or 3 days out and kind of reflecting on what the day was like rather than writing it down in real time. I don't need to write a lot. I just kind of want to address anything interesting that happened in the day or how I felt about anything that happened in the day. So I can often do that reflectively. I need to probably glue this in. This is from the December subscription. I just trimmed it down so it would fit in here. And I'm going to tape or glue this in so that we have a nice section starter for December. And I will probably use this page, unless I happen to journal on it, I will probably use this page to maybe do a little December dashboard. So that's kind of my plan. And then my December journals will go moving forward from there to finish out the year and fill up the book. So, and then I will not do, so the reason that these are here on these blank pages in the back is because I have the last bits of November and December weeklies I turned into my December weeklies. And so, yeah, and that's why I was thinking I wouldn't be able to put November in here, and why I was playing around with some layouts in my paper tests, which I cut apart for that purpose and abandoned because it was homemade and flimsy and not working as well for me, but it was good for my brain to play with those layouts. And I was able to use that same layout for November to finish out here because I was in the blank pages. So there's part of my brain that says, just get a plain notebook and be done with it moving forward. because what I really want is a complete in the N2 size that's in 2 books. Not too much to ask. Absolutely not too much to ask. But that's kind of how my brain wants to organize this. Jumping through 3 sections of the book is something that frustrated me about Hobonichi, which is what got me interested in paper tests to begin with. And since she doesn't make her book in 2 6-month books, I can't get that from her either. But anyway, that's how my brain wants it to be. I realize that that's probably not realistic. The other thing that could work well for me would be a N2 size undated flex style planner where I could just make my layouts as I go. So that being said, that's kind of what my fantasy SI wish that does not become reality. So this is how I'm making it work, and I'm happy with it. It is kind of nice to have the journal mixed in. But then there's also the side of me that says, it's kind of nice to just be able to keep those things separate as well. So, there's never a perfect system. That's why it's my planning mess, because I never can settle on anything. Okay, so that's pretty much where this year's at, and I think I'm in a holding pattern. I'm going to finish out the year strong in here. I really can't imagine any reason why I would not do that. So next year, remember I'm using 2 compact planners, 2 covers, 6 months each, even though they're designed for a year. And so this involved a lot of me whiting out and dealing with stuff. But I've got, I just did some decorating with my November sticker kit since I had, extra stickers to use for this is 2026's November, to make sure I use those well. Okay, I'm going to do something here because this little flap from this belt seal is annoying me. So let's do that. Okay. So I've got everything set up for 12 months in here. And that's ready to go. As soon as I get more dates from the school calendars, I will fill those out. I have gone ahead and done the Dutch doors for everyone. When I had stickers, I used them, and I did just order some more of these date stickers from Sterling Ink because, yes, I will get them in my subscription kit, but it's coming 1 month at a time. I want to be able to get this locked in and done sooner. So I will definitely be working on that when that order comes in, so that I don't have to just rely on these sticky notes of saying what week we're dealing with. But anywho, so this one is pretty much set up and ready to go, and there's not too much left to do to it. I've got I did do this. So this year, 2025, in the beginning part of my book, in this yearly tracker section, my idea was to do, not here, like a color graph of the temperatures. And it looks kind of cool. It doesn't look as cool as I thought it would. And it's not like, ooh, I have to do that again next year. But I wanted to track my weather for next year because it is kind of nice to be like, when you're future planning, you're like, when I go on this trip in a month, like what was the weather like last year, just to kind of check in. So I have, that's what I use this section for. Next year, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use this section next year to track the books I'm reading. And so I am not going to be coloring it in, but I wanted a place to track weather, and I'm not going to track it with colors. The other problem with it, of not keeping up with it, is I don't want to take all 10 highlighters with me everywhere I go. That's too much for me to deal with. I don't want to carry a bunch of stuff around. And I do a lot of this planning on the go. So I decided that I was going to come up with a different system. So that's what this is here. And of course, it's just going to be the 6 months because this is just a 6-month book, and my other book will have the other 6 months. But I've divided this up kind of like the beginning. So you can see down here, we've got the numbered days of the week, and I've got a section for each one of these. And on up close here, so this is a temperature range, what I expect the temperatures in January to be. And I usually have either the Hobonichi pen that they sent me, or I have something like this that has multiple colors of ink with me. And so I'm going to mark the high in red and the low in blue. And I've got some little icons there for different weather things that I may or may not utilize. We'll see. I always mark it in the week because I like to see it there, but it's something I could do in hindsight, or, after it's passed and just be like, oh, I need to fill January in. This is not something I need in real time. This is information I need at a later date. So it doesn't have to be filled immediately. So this is something new I added, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. The lines here indicate where the weeks start and stop. That just kind of helps my brain deal with a big section of like seeing a month linearly. That I don't like to see it that way. So this helps my brain see where the weeks start and stop. So that's why that's set up like that. Okay, and this is ready to go for my January 1 journal entry. And when those stickers come in, let me tell you, I'm going to slap it in there so it'll be ready to go. So that's everything for here. I have yet to mark anything else in the backpack. If I decide I want to do that, I will. But for now, I'm just assuming that I'm going to use all these for journaling. Okay, so this is my book 1. Quarters 1 and 2 is going to go in here. So today I was actually on the verge of ordering myself the one for quarters 3 and 4. Mostly because I was like, I really think I want to use this. The only drawback, so I have been pretty strongly leaning towards getting an undated N2 horizontal, just because they don't make an N2 vertical undated. And I know I want an undated because the work that it took to set up all this Dutch door stuff and all the whiting out and putting stickers down, I'm going to have to do that anyway. It'll save me any whiting out I have to do. I can just slap the stickers in and be done with it. So there's no point getting a dated one. The other thing that I want to do that a dated one kind of frustrates me with is in my month section. So for quarters 3 and 4, there's no need to include January, February, March through June. That is unnecessary. I don't need to know what happened in the past. I need to know what happens going forward. So I will want to start with July and go all the way to the next June, like an academic calendar. It's very helpful when I'm making my doctor's appointments to have all those future dates drawn out. And so in my other books, I have actually drawn them out for 6 months beyond, just so I can do that for doctor's appointments. So that is kind of a must. And since it's going to be undated, like these always start with December and end with January. I don't need that so much because I'll have my other book. And it's not like you could move in December because there's no weekly pages for December. So this is just kind of to look backwards. I don't need to look backwards. I'll grab my other book. So in the undated version, this would be July, and I'd go all the way to June, July, and August. So I'd have 14 months starting in the month that the book starts. So that's kind of how I want to handle that. So again, an undated is what I need. So I was looking through the undated today. I was like, I'm just going to go ahead and order it. I just kind of feel like I want to. And then there's part of me that says, just be patient because you might completely change your mind by the time that rolls around, and then you will spend money on something you may not want to use long term. But I still put it in my cart. And then I was looking around and I was like, well, what other undated ones do we have? Maybe there's something that I could use that I haven't thought through. And the thought crossed my mind, what does the N1 look like? Now, N1 is just slightly bigger. And for context, I will show you, I have an N1 booklet here that I ordered thinking I would use it as a fitness planner, and I've abandoned that idea. But anywho, I have this sitting around, and I thought maybe an N1. The nice thing about N1, they have an undated vertical. So I was like, that really could work for me. So I put that in my cart. So I had the N2 and the N1 undated, and my logic is they're undated. You'll use it when you're ready to use it. So it was sitting there, and I was thinking, and then my eye wandered over to this. And I was like, you have decided to not use this for what you were going to use it for. Why don't you use this for quarters 3 and 4? At least start off with it. If you hate it, you can abandon it and you can get yourself an undated N2 if the N1 is just so huge that you can't handle it. So since I already have it, it's sitting here. So I have this. This is a SI monthly booklet for 2026. You can see that's ready to go. So I'm just going to go ahead and start whiting it out. I mean, it's not going to cost me a dime because I already own it and I'm not going to use it for what I intended it for when I bought it. So it's not going to hurt anything. So this book, and because this is a booklet, they actually give you some extra pages in the back once the month ends. So I could potentially have like 18 months worth of dates, which again, for doctor's appointment scheduling, and it sounds like I'm an old person when I go all the time, but I have, keeping track of your kids, etc. It's just nice to have that future information. So that will work out quite nicely. I have this book. This is an undated vertical. It's from the company called Take a Note, and I just ordered it because I was curious what it would be like. Did I think it was going to be a week size? I don't know if I had that confusion or not, but anyway, it's not. It's a traveler's notebook size and one size for Sterling ink. So this was where I was going to track fitness stuff. I've done a complete U-turn, and when that product arrives, we'll do a video on it. But this is not. And my reason for abandoning it is this is bulky. This is too bulky for me to carry back and forth to the gym daily. I don't want to mess with something this heavy. And so I think I was wanting to make this work just because I owned it and I wanted to make it work. So we're going to make it work for something else. So I have this. This has, for some reason, and I don't understand the logic here, but there are only 6 months of vertical dates in this Take a Note thing, and then the rest are all blank pages. I don't know why they did that, but they did. So that works perfectly because I just need 6 months worth of vertical layout. So I'm cool with that. And then I have this book. I did order a set, and it comes in a set of 2 books. And this is the horizontal Sterling ink booklet. And so it only has 6 months because it has each one in 2 books so that they stay nice and slim. I mean, the idea is to keep your traveler's notebook slim. You can pull these notes in and out. So this goes basically to the end. Do they give you any blank pages? Yeah. They're counting 3. I count 4 because I don't know why they didn't count that one. But anyway, yeah, there's not much. So this is going to be my to-do list setup, which I like using in a horizontal. Amazingly, I did not think I could ever like a horizontal for anything other than tracking meals, but it works pretty well. So rather than doing a Dutch door setup, I'm going to try this. If I hate it being in a separate book, I could always use these. I could, totally redo this with a Dutch door setup to work like my other one. It's undated, so. But I'm gonna date it, guys. Let's be honest. I don't want to mess around. I filled this in all the way in pencil because I'd done some stuff in pen that I had to white out. So I was like, if I change my mind, I want it in pencil so I can erase. So that is exactly how this is. I'm going to erase and use this for quarters 3 and 4. That's my feeling at the moment. I could totally change my mind. But I have kind of felt like I would like to try an N1 style. My gut feeling is I'm going to feel like in the end it's too big. I mean, look how big this is. It's very chunky compared to something like this. And yes, it does fluff up a little bit, but that is a big difference. The rubber bands make it chunky, and this is a used one, a full one. And you can see it's fluffed up a little bit, but it's not huge. So I don't know, but I think that a lot of this comes from when things aren't quite working, like I haven't found the perfect system. I found one that's really close, but it's not perfect. That eats away at me and it causes some anxiety. So having some of these things like this laying around that I can be like, you know what, rather than spending $30+ plus all the stickers, like just 6 months of stickers to finish this out is like $24. So it'd be $48 just in stickers to sticker up an undated. So it's a money commitment that you put out there for going undated and for stickering it yourself. Unless you wanted to write it in. If you had great handwriting and you wanted to just fill it in with pen, that would save you some money. But like rather than throwing all that money out there, like I was about to do this morning, I gave myself this option to try. If I hate it, I hate it. I mean, I'm not spending any more money than I had spent before. I already have these, they're sitting here, and these are all dated and ready to go. So that is what the plan is moving forward at this point. Let's try and use what I have and see if I like this traveler's notebook thing, because before I started any of these bound planners like Hobonichi or Sterling Ink, I was a happy planner girl. I loved my disc journals. I loved the flexibility. I loved moving things around. I loved adding, subtracting, and just making it have everything I wanted in one notebook. The customization to me was so important, and it was until it wasn't, which was the bulk and the weight of carrying that thing around. And those are bigger than a B5 and heavy. So having this type of situation where you can slide things in and out is really a way to kind of feel like I have a little bit of that customization back in my life that I would like. For a while before I started Hobonichi, I was actually looking into the Erin Condren system, because they have, I think it's like an A5 size system. I had actually bought their monthly booklet, which is thick and huge because of course they don't use Tomoe River paper. And then I was looking into all the other booklets. I mean, they have some really cool tracking things, but by the time I bought everything that I wanted, that thing would have been massive. So I ended up not going that direction, but I was very seriously toying with it at the time. So this is a way to kind of have that sense of feeling. My gut feeling is I probably will hate this, and I probably will get myself an undated N2 and move forward with that, and that is okay. And if it costs me an extra $24 worth of date stickers, so be it. But I really want to at least give this size a try, because if in the future, if I did like it, I don't think I would ever do the booklet system again because of the extra bulk. But I mean, this thickness, imagine this thickness, but it's only slightly bigger. That could, in theory, work for me. So this will be a chance to try out the space. I know I don't like the more rectangular, the more squarish rectangular, the wider rectangular sizes like the A6, B6, A5 sizes. Those, there's something about this long, slim look that makes it feel bigger than it is, which makes it so I can get away with a smaller size. So I don't think I have a huge amount of different styles to mess around with. I, in theory, could potentially try a B6 Slim. I don't think there was an undated B6 Slim. That's kind of a unique size that she hasn't really done that with. So I probably won't go that direction just because, again, I need a good space to write out my to-dos and think through that. That is a big area of my life that if I don't have it, it causes me anxiety. And so I really need to be able to do the layout that I have now, either with a Dutch door or something where I have a place to really plan out my to-dos. So I don't think that the B6 Slim is in my future unless she starts making some stuff that I can work with. So anyway, that is where we're at this point. Almost done with November. Want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, and hopefully all of that goes well for you. And as we roll into December, hopefully you have gotten your planner figured out for next year, and you're not one of those people like me that just can't seem to make up their mind or decide. So best wishes and all of that, and hopefully this gave you some ideas and answered some questions about sizes and products.